Entebbe was the first city I saw in Uganda. I mean, it is going to be the first city anybody's going to see if they fly into Uganda because it has the country's only international airport. And honestly, before this trip, that's all I thought it was. I just knew the name. I didn't know it's a separate city from Kampala. The only things I really associated it with were the crazy history bits. You know, like the expulsion of the Indian community in the 1970s, or that one time when the former president, Idi Amin, he hijacked the plane. But I never really thought it would have a place like this. This is Entebbe Botanical Garden. I read somewhere that the Tarzan movie was actually inspired by this garden. I couldn't really find reliable sources to back that up though. Now, Entebbe Botanical Garden is located right along the shores of Lake Victoria. Lake Victoria is the largest lake in Africa. It's shared by 3 countries, so that's Tanzania, Uganda, and Kenya. I still cannot believe I got to Lake Victoria without even trying. Basically, the plan was to go to the botanical garden, but I thought I would need at least an hour's journey from the hotel I was staying in Entebbe to get to the lake. I didn't know I could easily get there through the botanical garden. So as I was exploring the garden, the guy who was showing us around was like, "That's Lake Victoria," like casually, and I was like, no way. It was only like a 3-minute drive from the hotel I was staying in and about maybe 5 minutes from the actual Entebbe town. It's also very close to the airport. I would say maximum 20 minutes. There are also restaurants inside the garden, so you could have picnics as well. By the lakeside, the vibe felt more like being at a beach rather than actually being at a traditional botanical garden. A lot of people were just chilling and it was giving more like a national park vibe instead of like a botanical garden, because in a botanical garden, I mean, in the traditional sense, people are just going to like see plants, animals, or like some kind of insects. Whereas like here, you can come and actually like just chill like you're going to the beach. The lake shore is apparently 1.5 to 2 kilometers, so it is quite long. And the garden itself, it covers an area of like 100 acres, so it is huge. The standard recommended time to visit is about 2 hours, but I would give it maybe half a day. I would give it half a day because the garden does have some wildlife like monkeys, some monkeys I've never seen before, some birds, and some really like interesting plants. So if you're really into nature like that, then yeah, you'd need to have a lot of time. And just to give yourself enough time to actually like relax by the lakeside. So unfortunately, some of the animals were quite far, but I was able to see them. It was just difficult to capture them on camera. I was recording with an iPhone camera, so there's only so much zoom I can do, especially with the monkeys. This moment, I think, was the only time I was actually able to capture any bird up close. And if anybody knows the name of this bird, please let me know in the comments down below. So yeah, the garden does have a good variety of birds. Now, about the monkeys, they do have a good variety as well in this garden, but most were really high up in the trees. Now, Entebbe Botanical Gardens were actually established in 1898. This was during the British colonial rule, making them Uganda's first botanical and agricultural research site. They were created as a testing ground for economically valuable crops. So these crops were like coffee, tea, rubber, cocoa, and more. Essentially, they were trying to assess which plants could thrive in Uganda's climate and obviously maximize profit. If you want to visit, the ticket prices for foreigners is $6 per person, and the opening times is from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. and it's open daily. After the botanical garden, it was time to get some food, and we went to this bar. It's called the Tipsy Cow Bar. It's really a great place for chilling to some music and just trying out some Ugandan food. So in Uganda, you can always find freshly made juices, and I got a pineapple one. For the meal, we ordered lusania. Lusania is a platter that includes a mix of popular Ugandan food. So, matoke, pilau rice, beans, and other traditional sides. It's meant to be shared because the culture in Uganda is big on community, and one way to bond with others is by sharing food. The food is very similar to what we actually eat in Malawi, but it's never presented in a platter like this. I really like this idea though. Some of the items here would be considered breakfast items in Malawi, like the pumpkins, the sweet potatoes, and what you call matoke in peanut sauce, we have futali. Instead of green bananas, we use sweet potatoes. I also tried to order some beef barbecue, but I think we had a bit of a language barrier because I got a stir fry with barbecue sauce. Then I found out that in Uganda, they refer to barbecue meat as roasted meat. Taste-wise, I think I do prefer the Malayan versions of these foods. This is Victoria Mall. I actually went just before going to the botanical garden. Basically, I needed an ATM to withdraw some cash, but the priority was to get to the garden, so I didn't get a chance to record inside it. I went back later on. I had to get a few things before going back to my hotel. The mall has a lot of things like restaurants, cafes, supermarkets, banks, and more. Apparently, there's also a hotel next to this mall. I think it's like in the same building, but with a different entrance. So if you plan to visit Entebbe, the hotel here can be one of your options. That way you'll be close to the mall. I did like my hotel as well though, but I'm just letting you know that this other option does exist as well, close to the mall. To be fair, Entebbe is quite small and a lot of things are not that far from each other. So if you're staying in other hotels in Entebbe, it shouldn't be that hard to get to this mall or the botanical garden or the Tipsy Cow bar. So this place is good if you want international stuff, but for Ugandan things, as in restaurants, it might not be the best place. I mean, you can find Ugandan drinks, snacks, and other products, but for restaurants, I think it might be better to try restaurants outside the mall. So kind of like the one I went to, the Tipsy Cow. And there's also a lot of other restaurants around, so that one wasn't the only one. But I think it's also important that international foods and products are available. As I've said before in my previous videos, that sometimes you might not like the local food, but with international food available that you're familiar with, you can still enjoy the city without feeling deprived.
Oh, it makes sense. This is the opposite.
For the hotel, I stayed at Horizon Hotel. The room was spacious, even had like a sitting area with like a flat screen TV. I think the whole room actually had like 2 TVs, one on the sitting area and one where the bed was. The price was about €100 for a night, so that's including breakfast for 2. The customer service was good. It was also very close to the airport. It was literally like 15 minutes away, but also very close to the places I wanted to go to, like the botanical garden. The hotel also has a swimming pool, gym, restaurant, and if you want to know what else is available, more information is detailed on booking.com. My only critique would be that the bathroom sinks could have been a bit cleaner, especially around the water drainage area. The breakfast was really good. There was a good variety of what you could choose from. It was like a buffet. And I'm really crazy about these little finger bananas. They were so good. This was the balcony of the room. So, is Entebbe worth your time? I think it's worth a day in my opinion. So, if you plan to visit Uganda, keep one day for Entebbe. And I think the highlight is the botanical garden. But if there's any Ugandans watching, please let us know in the comments down below on what other things you could do in Entebbe. And thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.